You're listening to BleedTV, the only podcast today's best shows and movies. I'm Zach.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Cash.
Tonight we got Walking Dead. This was episode 7, Time for After, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, named after one of these stupid garbage people.
Yeah, the garbage
terms.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they need to meet is just a shotgun to the back of the head because I don't know how these garbage people are still in the show. As we'll talk about.
Nothing subtle about that whatsoever.
No, I mean, it's a perfect time for the sound effects if we're talking about garbage people.
All right, so let's getting past the name and the garbage pail kids. What would you give the episode, considering what we had to deal with last week? How does this one compare, or how does it fit in?
It fits in right beside it, you know.
Yeah, very consistent dog shit. I mean, I gotta be honest. I mean, I really. Possibly the worst two back-to-back episodes for me.
This was a hair better than the last episode, but not much.
Okay.
Only because this one didn't have, like, glaring, god-awful inconsistency or coincidental situations happening, if that makes sense. We didn't have a garbage truck knock out a speaker truck so blindly and so luckily. We didn't have something stupid like that.
I'll give it that. I'll give it the coincidences were shaved down in this episode.
That's all. This episode in my mind was a hair better, only because it was a little bit refreshing having a different character be the lead. You know, Eugene being the lead was a little bit, and I enjoyed a lot of his dialogue and some of his quick wit and all that kind of stuff. So that's the reason the episode was better for me. Was it great? Absolutely not. But considering what we had to deal with the week before, I was pleased that it was kind of a slight improvement. We wasn't the same slog we got in the past.
Right.
So that was my trying to put a positive spin on the beginning of this. But going right into the episode, I mean, the first thing we deal with is Rick in the hot box. And
you don't want to go ahead and just knock out
the entire Rick thing.
Let's just knock that out.
Okay. Yeah, because it's basically two scenarios.
Yes.
Rick is in the hot box. He's in...
how airtight are shipping containers and stuff?
They're pretty good.
Yeah,
it just depends. Okay,
I was a little worried about him being alive after being in a hot box shipping container.
It's a good thing that you see that they have holes in it. You know what I mean? To me, that's you can look at that two different ways. It's convenient, or it's light, or it's air, whatever you want to call it.
The holes are good, but it would be blistering hot.
It would be blazing because as much as considering he gets into a complete body soak sweat just getting in an arm wrestle in this show. Could you imagine the body funk that's going on with him right now?
I mean, he's Daryl.
The thing is, too, is they put him in the worst boxer shorts known to man, and they're dry as bone.
Kudos to having the bandage and making it look dirty and old. Kudos to the detail there.
His scars, his bandages, all that stuff, great. He should have had horrific ass crack sweat on these boxers.
Swamp ass coming out of the
super swamp ass. Super Famunda cheese balls.
Mary Jane rotten crotch and everywhere
just
down there.
Cheese growing out of that thing.
Yeah, just Famunda falling right out of his pants. Just disgusting.
Yeah, she's probably under there with a piece of toast or something getting ready.
My God.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so when he stands up like that and we have effing art class... Again, this is, like you said earlier, like the other episode, swing and a miss. This is just completely baffling to me.
There was a saving grace to this for me. Like, if he would have turned that picture around and it was one of those carnival ones where it's like the massive head, like the little body and everything, I would have taken that.
Honestly, when they opened the door and she started snapping photos, I was like, super smart move. Take a picture of Rick, show him that you have him captured, and send it to Negan.
Yeah.
I thought this is exactly what was going to happen. No. So I can sculpt you later. No, I'm sorry. So later I can sculpt you, or later sculpt you, or whatever the fuck Yoda conversation they want to have.
And also, let's talk about this camera. Okay, tell me this. Where can you get this camera? Where can you find these bulbs that are evidently plentiful? Okay,
it's like I'm gonna struggle finding those on Amazon, and you have them
where to look today. I'm just like, exactly. This is no digital camera. I mean,
there's no way.
Just like, we're popping bulbs like we're dropping candy at Halloween.
If they did show a backstory to these clown ass junkyard people, I think it literally would be like an art school survival thing. You know what I'm saying?
There's no way.
It's the College of Art.
It is.
The dump beside it.
The Memphis College of Art right there.
That's what I'm being serious. Like this, what these people would consist of is like a small art school that just locked themselves up.
I refuse to
super
believe.
nerds.
No,
you know what I mean?
I refuse to believe that they would have made it this far.
That's the only excuse they have for being so fucking stupid.
We're naked metal sculpting. Ugh. We're taking pictures of people in their draws. We're drawing people.
Yeah. None of it makes sense.
Just what world and spectrum is this even necessary to bring into this?
This is the worst filler they've ever thrown into episodes.
The filler is what it is.
Yeah.
So that
like just make them cannon fodder.
Let's just keep saying after. So then they close the door on Rick. Okay, so pretty much the entire episode goes through, and we get towards the end, and they open the door back up to basically we're gonna have tied up Rick, where I'm not really understanding what our goal here is like, was this Walker brought out to scare him, to show him this is the new version?
Yeah, the
of one that has metal
version.
head and spikes on it. Was this to kill him?
This was to kill Rick.
Okay, well, see, I was confused because at no time was I concerned for his safety whatsoever.
No. And why the rigmarole of bringing out this Walker? Shoot him in the head.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if your goal is to kill him, this is simple. Rick, bang.
Rick, easily, to our knowledge, the most dangerous person that they've ever had in their camp. And we know he's dangerous, and all he said is, I'm going to kill you.
This is what I'm getting at. Like, it makes no sense. That's why I was saying, like, you say clearly that the goal was to kill him. To me, I was like, I thought it was to show off a new Walker, and he took advantage of it. I mean, literally, that's what I thought. I never once thought for a second that he was just going to be food for this Walker.
No, of course not. So it's like we've created this just super stupid situation without any stakes whatsoever until the only stakes is that he's obviously going to turn this around in his favor, which he does. And it's like, well, how can we put his Walker on a stick and tear a head off and stuff? Once again, where can we get this cool thing and shoehorn it into some filler?
I mean, that had to be it, because otherwise you throw him back in the pit and you just keep feeding Walkers one by one. Like,
all right. Now, the whole deal where he's able to get away from one guy using his elbow, undo his ropes.
Well, no, because I think he kept his hands tied behind
his
back.
Yeah, that's right, not undo his rope. But he's able to get to the stick of this Walker, right? And I do like the fighting with him grabbing the stick looked plausible to me. I do like this, considering these guys didn't have weapons. It's two guys, Rick and the stick and the Walker. I was okay with that. As soon as we pull the head off and we drop it, the Jadis or whatever like that pulls up the anaconda within inches of him. He's able to move his head. She fires. She fires again. He's able to get the gun away, get her on the ground. Okay, and with her head right next to the Walker's head. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we're surrounded by 18 guys with AK-47s and so on. While you're standing there, not like you have a pistol against her head.
No,
you just have her in a pin with her face right next to a Walker.
You shoot him.
Yeah.
Bang!
1,000 times. Even if you just kill her, oh well. Like, at this point.
No.
I mean,
I know they wouldn't have
he's
to, but
standing broadside. One guy could walk up and go, game over.
Appreciate it, Rick.
Yeah. This is another scene that was like, what? And then he's negotiating?
Which also, he was the worst negotiator until she opened up her mouth. But
I'm just...
like, how are your negotiating tactics? I'm going to kill you. Come back and take everything.
I swear there has to be somebody who's watched this, that's who is an executive producer, that looks at this and goes, we have dug our hole so deep that it's impossible to get out with this god-awful plot line of characters. There has to be somebody that goes, really?
Yeah, nobody...
Somebody could walk up to Rick and put a knife into him. You don't even have to waste a bullet in the position he's in with her.
But what... What changed from her saying no, about to feed him to a walker, to the point where now she wants to negotiate?
Yeah,
what
there was
changed?
no change.
There was
Okay, so they should have shot him while he was holding her down next to the walker head. No worries. She'll just skedaddle out of the way. No big deal. But then once he lets her up, she should be like, gun, and then just shoot him again.
No, it's Tony Montana. Okay, I won't shoot you. You shoot that son of a bitch right there. You know, bam. You know
literally.
what I mean?
This makes no sense.
It doesn't.
Rick has done nothing, has no upper hand to show in this scenario, yet all of a sudden she's willing to negotiate now. Guys, this is just utter dumpster fire to me.
It's dog shit. Because the bottom line is, if that walker was brought out to kill him, what has changed now?
That walker
Nothing.
was brought to kill him.
Yeah,
If that was brought to kill him, then somebody should have shot his ass when he was holding her down. And when he stood up and she stepped back, somebody should have shot his ass. She should have shot his ass. He should be dead.
Like, the only thing that could have possibly changed was he somehow got more dangerous. Like, we got more reasons to want to kill Rick. Not anything less than negotiate.
Atrocious. Like I said, it's the biggest swing and a miss.
It's an
in
insult that they're still
Walking
feeding
Dead
this to
history
us.
to create this group and incorporate it with the way it communicates, the way it talks, the way it incorporates itself, its lifestyle, the whole 9 yards. It is completely asinine and adds no character. It adds no depth. It is pure god-awful filler.
No, unfortunately, it does add characters. Characters we could give a shit about and would rather not be on the screen. We have too many characters.
Right.
And now they got these characters that we could give two shits. Don't want to see them, but we have to waste all this time with them. How do they feel like they don't have enough story to fill all these episodes? They have plenty of story they can tell.
And the fact of the matter here is this was episode 7.
Yeah.
And guess how far we've got in All Out War? You know what I mean? We're like a couple days, maybe 3 days into this?
But the first couple days, or the first couple episodes, they had already trapped Negan
Inside
the building.
Yeah.
The rest of this time, the rest of these, 5 episodes have been just slogging through, fluff.
Fluff. Okay. I'll say the last little part at the end, because what Rick and suddenly they're all comrades, and he goes back to the compound.
Okay,
we'll say that at the end. But so really the focus here is that
Eugene kind of
it's Eugene storyline, and then you have like Daryl, Michonne, and all them storyline, and so Eugene is the biggest part of this whole deal.
Yes,
he's definitely the lead of the whole 9 yards. And you see the opening scene with him is that he pulls this piece of paper out, this pad out, and he goes, "What I know, what I don't know,
what I know I don't know,
what I know I don't know," and that stuff. And from that, he formulates immediately that Dwight is the bad guy.
Fantastic. Perfectly plausible. We gave it to the right character, loved it, and then goes and confronts it. It's a perfect Eugene move. It's like, I've thought this out. I know it. How could this go wrong? And there's about 100 different ways he didn't expect Dwight, that he could have retaliated against him and prevented it. But Dwight never really acted on that.
Do we feel like we should have seen a little bit more of him figuring it out instead of just a sudden boom, here it is?
He actually,
that's how he does.
He actually figured it out before he made this list. He figured it out when he touched the wet paint. And it was the same thing that was on the bag when they had the meeting with Negan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's when he figured out that Dwight was the guy that's double-crossing. When he came in to make the notes and stuff like that, I think he had an intention of deciding where he was going to go with his information he knew. And then that's why he just kind of threw it to the side and just decided to go confront Dwight about it. Yeah. All right. All of us, I think, can agree that we enjoy Eugene on the screen.
Yes.
We enjoy how they write for him and all that stuff. The only concern I had with Eugene this episode, because I like it being Eugene-centric. I agree with you. I thought that was, a good call to bring in something like that, a little more fresh. But they played really fast and loose with his emotions.
They did.
And, what side he's actually taking.
Yeah, because to me, it seemed like he flip-flopped within the entire episode.
Like,
at least 3 times.
3 different times back and forth.
I don't think he necessarily flip-flopped as much as just thought about it. I think he was sticking with Negan the whole time.
To me, him not telling on Dwight shows loyalty. And then you see him when he turns around and makes the decision, when he's talking to Gabriel was the time that you saw him make a determination that he's the opposite way. And then
but then he comes back and yells at Gabriel.
Right. And then you see him make the decision that he's going to do the flyer. Yeah. There's at least 2-3 key things where he makes a statement with either what he says or does that shows loyalty to something.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's always sticking with Negan and everything. He says, "I'm Negan," like you said. He talked to Gabriel and all that. But, he's leaving all these little breadcrumbs just in case. Because he's a survivor. He wants to be able to, in case somehow Negan loses in his head.
He's playing the gray area of, I got to do what's best for me in the moment to survive. I can't have allegiance to anything.
He's worried about
what gets me through it.
He's worrying right now with 2% worried about the future, and I think that's why he hasn't necessarily.
Well, I mean, that last part is where it really confused me the most. When he could have given up Dwight and had been lifted on high. You know what I'm saying? That was a good opportunity for him. But like Cash is saying, I feel like he does still have one foot hanging on the. If he's walking the fence, I'm saying, Negan on this side, Rick on this side, he's playing it up for Negan, and then he's not totally devastating Dwight, which keeps him in Rick's graces too. You know what I mean?
Because it's just what is left of the Savior's compound? It's maybe this isn't where I want to be.
What I think? Just throwing this out there, I don't think he has the balls to be responsible for a death. Think about a single time that he's responsible for a person's death. He had to shoot to kill something.
Yeah.
Or he made a decision that got somebody, like that. He was responsible. I think as soon as he saw Dwight in that scene, he couldn't muster saying it because he knows that he would be responsible for his death.
So if Dwight doesn't walk in,
if Dwight doesn't walk in, I think he tells him, but he can't look him in the eye and know that he was the reason and say that to him. I just got a perception from that.
I kind of like what you're saying.
Because I just don't think... I think about times when he's been in a situation where he had to do something. I can
freezes.
only ever think of one time. I think he was in a warehouse one time where he made a decision to go in and save somebody, and he dropped 4 or 5 walkers.
Well, it was Abraham, wasn't it?
To carry somebody out. Remember that?
He was trying to prove a point to Abraham that his services...
it was the mayor's son. He was in there. Remember where he dies? He gets stuck on the pole.
She goes in and saves Tara, or no?
He goes back and saves Tara's life.
Right. And he carries her out.
Right.
And he kills 4 or 5 walkers.
I'm just saying, Tara's in the area. He magically is able to kill.
This is true. His accuracy went clean up.
We can't really.
But you see what I'm saying? There's no, killing of a live person. He's never been in that situation. So I think it could be that too.
Okay, I agree with you. But the balls thing takes a little bit of a left turn when he decides to continue with the flying.
Now, see, that right there, he's making a decision to save human lives.
Yes.
No, I know, but he's also a huge chicken shit coward.
Right.
For him to say, you'll just have to shoot me in the back, that's totally out of character.
It was. For him to gamble his life for that was way out of his point. It was way out of his purview.
You literally see what he says next scene is him yelling at Gabriel.
I've made a choice.
It's in my DNA, you know what I mean? I've been evolved this way. I will do whatever choice keeps me alive. You know what I'm saying? So it's
he adapted
Negan be damned,
Negan's
Rick
speech.
be damned. Didn't matter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's and at first he's very altruistic. You hate that he's on Negan's side, but he is trying to keep the 99% safe. Mm-hmm. So it's okay, cool.
He has positive goals, even though some of the things he does, I don't know. Some of my favorite lines, though. I mean, everything's I'm Negan, I'm a savior, da 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 da, but I'm gonna keep you on the QT, or I'm not gonna a Judasness, or somebody's you look like potato shit casserole, or there was.
So many.
I stay in my lane, so I stay vertical. The rest of y'all end up horizontal.
Yeah.
He's I'm seeing 20 and 20, and then he was
10 and 10.
I'm 10 and 10. I'm 10 for 10. I got 5-on-5 or something like that. I was like,
what are you even
nonstop.
saying, Eugene?
Just keep going.
Keep it going.
I know it, man. And so the things about Eugene that bothered me is when you see a guy who, borderline, I mean, not as a negative. I mean, the guy has a personality like he's not antisocial, but you can definitely tell he has issues social, like somebody who has autism.
I would say antisocial works.
Or autistic, what do you want to call it?
Asperger's, basically what it is.
Something of that nature. One is something on the spectrum. And so it really, the whole scenes of him like cracking and like losing it, or like when he's drinking the wine and he's not drinking the wine and grabbing his hair and pulling it stuff, is this a man who's torn with his decisions, or he's cracking under pressure, or is a contributor? Like, I was a little confused about what message they're trying to send when he's doing this.
I thought it was just a man breaking in the middle of a Walker apocalypse who just wasn't mentally prepared for this. I mean,
no, I think you're both right in a way.
Okay.
Because I feel like he is cracking under the pressure because he's fighting his basic instinct, which is to
run and
do
hide.
whatever he has to do to stay alive. So every minute he's not ratting Dwight out, he's fighting his instinct. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's literally him fighting with himself, like trying not to. I don't know. I mean, like just you see how he is when he yelled at Gabriel. That's his true self,
right?
You know what I mean? But when he actually doesn't give up Dwight at the end, and you see him sitting down crying and stuff like that, I mean, that's him completely fighting what he just screamed at Gabriel.
Correct.
So it's like,
I
think it fit a little bit. Like I said, they just played really fast and loose with it, to where you could easily get confused.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Like when we say he flip flops so many times, you're like, okay, which is this? Is this good Gabriel, bad Gabriel, good Gabriel? Bottom line is, by the end of the episode, I end up not liking Gabriel more. Like I just
talking about Eugene or Gabriel?
I'm sorry, Eugene.
I was like whoa.
Eugene. I mean, Eugene is what I mean. Eugene was getting to the point where now I was like, just kill this motherfucker. Just like he's gone full Negan and everything else.
He's completely betrayed us at this point.
And which goes against everything in the comic book, and which is baffling to me that they've created this remix like they have. And I hate to say that I feel like they're setting up a very cliche, he becomes the savior to the group. That's how he earns his respect back into Rick's, culmination later.
Yeah.
And I just think that's like a huge cliche, I mean, like when all is lost, all of a sudden Eugene does something to save his old friends, his old riding buddies, as he puts it,
But I mean, they painted that very heavily in this episode, I feel like. But I mean, also, can we lose Eugene? Like, I mean, realistically, can we?
If you're a comic book reader, no.
And we haven't introduced anyone nearly as smart or as innovative as he is.
Well, they brought up a really big deal about the whole bullet making.
Yes.
That's a huge, 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 huge deal.
And we found that out exactly a season ago, correct?
Yeah. Which it has never been addressed or issued because it looks like they have infinite ammo ever since the season started.
It's been a legit full season since Eugene got kidnapped and has been with the Saviors.
Yeah, the ammo... put it
was
this way,
why they
ammo was an issue and brought up when Abraham was still alive.
Yes.
I mean, if that tells you anything. But Denise was still alive.
But the whole reason Eugene was here was to make bullets. And it took us a legit season for it to even be brought back up.
Yeah.
That's how much filler we've gone through.
I know it. I know it. It's a lot of foreshadowing in this one. So let's talk about him. All right. He goes down here and with his little headlamp into storage, finds the casket. A little bit of throwback. Get a little flash of Sasha coming out. Okay. And he opens it up and he finds the iPod. Now, are we to believe he went down there to find this iPod? Was that what his goal was?
I have no idea.
Or was he just searching for materials and this happened to come along?
I thought he was searching for a speaker of some kind.
Well, he takes the boombox apart and he has a speaker. And so we see that before he goes down there.
I just thought he was looking for some kind of parts.
Yeah, to me, he was looking for materials to create something.
Agreed.
The speaker was the big clue. There you go.
And the good old iPod Generation 2 Mini. Shout out to them.
Yeah. So, cool little callback. I thought that was neat like that and so on. So then, the very next scene, he has created
some kind of like hang glider.
It's a glider with a motor.
This is a drone. This is a RC plane.
Yeah, it's an RC plane.
But
all right,
I hope this was a kit they found somewhere. You know what I mean? So you could just didn't just throw this together, because I mean, there's some things on here that would require.
Bottom line, if this was built like from scratch, this was an all-day build.
Yes,
finding materials, cutting them, piecing these things together.
Because there's no way you're getting a propeller. There's no propeller for you.
All it was a fan. And see, a fan doesn't generate enough revolutions to have this.
No, that's what I'm saying.
This whole concept is completely a farce.
No, like I said, if you look at it, this is what an RC plane looks like. That's a small electric motor on the front with the prop on it. That's all fine. I wish they had shown him when they went down there, find the RC plane box, not the radio.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you find that would make more sense to me than finding the iPod.
It gives it more plausibility than him just miraculously having this giant glider.
Exactly.
Because let me tell you something else about this. When those RC planes that look like that shape and like that, those things move. Like, it ain't no flutter through the air. I even got on YouTube and just hooked up a couple of them talking about RC planes like he's talking about. I'm talking about those things. I mean, they're moving. Because that propeller is moving so fast you can't hardly see it. And that thing is just, taking off. So the whole scene of it going.
Just kind of like puttering out there.
Fluttering. Enough time for them to have a conversation. Dwight to pull the gun down. Think about it longer. And then lean over and shoot 5 times. That plane would have been on the other side of the parking lot. Morgan would be picking it up by now over there. You know what I mean?
Which also, Dwight can shoot this crossbow like he is in the Olympics. And he misses this glider, 3 times, I think, before he even hits it?
I mean...
Like we've
talked... it's actually more of a ridiculous thing that he would be able to hit this thing out of the air.
Yeah, to me, like, just hitting it.
With
a pistol without even... without even, like, aiming. He's just like... Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, it wasn't like he got
into
the Weaver stance, you know what I mean? Was, like, really shooting down the sights or nothing like that. He was still one-arming that thing and blew it out of the sky. I'm like, nah.
Fair, but
see, to me, if they have all their questions, he struggles to shoot Eugene. Eugene pushes the button, and then he just leans down and shoots it right before it gets off the edge of the plane, off the building. Mm-hmm. So much more plausible, super much more plausible. Instead of it going out there and going, wah, wah, no, it's just kind of floating around, and
this was just an opportunity to start playing some more Eugene style music.
Yeah.
Plus, it didn't look good. The CG looked bad.
It did.
The plane
Plus,
flying.
It didn't look like a kit because it had rulers as supports for the wings.
It
had some things on it.
There was some randomness about it.
Very random. And the lines on it. I mean, like, if this wasn't a kit, who in the hell spent the time to draw the red and white stripes and all that?
That's the thing. With these little RC gliders and stuff like that, and these planes, that motor and stuff is built just to carry its own battery pack and its own weight. You can't add anything to them.
No.
They won't leave the ground. I mean, it's like they didn't think the logistics through, or they just basically were just like, the audience is dumb enough not to care.
We're all sheep. That's the bottom line.
It's unfortunate. And the only reason I know about this stuff is because of my brother-in-law. I mean, this is what he does. He's a hobbyist. He flies these planes and stuff. So I know a lot more about it than I would normally know. And it's just false. I mean, it just wouldn't happen. That iPod,
those things
we
are
remember
heavy.
The things. Yeah. They're heavy.
Yeah. The bottom line is, as soon as the plane leaves the edge of the building, it would have nosedived.
100%.
It would have just gone right into the walkers, and they could have had a little sound right there.
There we go. We should have been playing the torture song all the way through.
But
okay.
I don't know.
All right. Why does Dwight not kill him?
That I don't have a good reason for.
Because he would have to explain it, is what I think.
I mean, you just kick him off the thing.
I mean, if you're willing to shoot your gun 5 times,
yeah, you obviously
then you're completely okay with pulling the trigger one time to kill Eugene.
Yeah,
and be like, all right, what happened out there? I killed one.
Eugene was the traitor.
Yeah,
he confessed to me, and
I shot his ass, and he went right off the edge.
Negan's going to question you and hate you for a while, but after a good bit, you can get back into good graces. Or the war's already
it's
over.
It's risky no matter what, but to me, having a live liability versus a dead liability, I'm going to go with the dead liability.
Like, 2 people can keep it secret if one of you's dead.
I think the only reason he didn't shoot him was because he didn't immediately turn Dwight in when he knew. Almost like Dwight owes him one, you know what I'm saying? Because that was the beginning of the episode. He goes into Dwight's room, confronts him. He tells him, I'll keep your shit secret as long as you don't do anything to affect these people in here. You know what I mean? So it's like...
But Dwight immediately knows he's going to be doing that. And so there isn't really any reason to not...
I know, but I still feel like he owes him one for not immediately turning him in.
I can see that.
I like
Dwight's getting the furnace.
I like that you're fighting for it, but there's just... I can't think of a lot.
Yeah, I gotta try to come up with something decent to talk about these episodes.
The writers didn't give us anything.
Yeah, it gets tiresome chainsawing every single episode of this dumpster fire show.
All right, so there's a couple scenes with Eugene and Negan's complimenting the crap out of him, and he goes, "Man, you got it's like a sponge between them ears and your them eyes and that hair and blah 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 and da da da," and then the infamous handshake.
He in no shape, way, or form. Is he going in for a handshake? Like, that's like the queen. Like,
it
kiss
was
my
like
hand.
Whenever you show, top hand forward.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought
I can't see your fucking thumb, I guess that means I'm supposed to kiss a knuckle.
Yeah,
and
you're in the position
that
of power.
Was no handshake.
No.
Yeah, that's one of those come in bro handshakes. You know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, man. You know what I mean? Where they got it twisted up and like that. I'm like, nah, bro.
But also, Eugene, you gotta stand up. You can't try to shake another man's hand sitting down. But the whole
kiss
scene,
the ring thing was pretty. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was pretty funny.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious, but it's just like in no shape or way or form was he going for a handshake.
Yeah, no, they set it up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Oh, he was saying
he set him up. There ain't no doubt about that.
But he's smiling at him for a reason. You know what I mean? He's manipulating Eugene.
Oh yeah,
big time. Because he knows to hit him where it hurts.
Stroking his ego.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he knows that Rick doesn't treat Eugene as an equal.
Correct.
So
how does it feel to be number 2 around here?
Yeah, so he knows as long as he does that, he's like, if he's not a second-rate citizen, Eugene loves that power, loves that, inside scoop and stuff like that. So we've all known people like this, by the way.
Yeah.
Just
thrive in this situation.
Climbers,
yes.
what we call them, what I mean?
I 100% agree.
And are we worried about Simon at all?
No.
He's had a bad rap the last few episodes.
I'm going to say Simon has been left out of the episode as purely as a budgetary situation. Because,
plus, it wouldn't surprise me that he's in timeout right now for what happened last couple episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We still got no conclusion on Gabriel other than he has an infection that's shutting his organs down. We got no.
I think
he was bit. We got no.
I think it was from the blood, from putting all of the Walker blood on him. Now this would be the first time we've seen.
I'm sorry, Rick has been covered in more Walker blood than any other individual in the show, and
with no
it's
protection.
just fine. There was a scene when Shane was alive in season 2 where it was like somebody dumped a bucket of blood and guts into his face, eyes, mouth, everything like that.
No, remember he had to actually push his hand through a walker's face to kill it, remember? And it was just goo and guts just pouring on his face and stuff.
He was spitting up. So for them to say that he got ill from contamination,
it doesn't
complete
make sense.
Rubbish.
Well, and on Fear the Walking Dead, we've seen the attic kid bathe in Walker blood.
No, this was horseshit, dude. Because the thing is, Negan literally says, "Anybody ever get sick from this?" And then they put it on, and all of a sudden, Gabriel's full-blown dying over here.
Yeah, he's got yellow face. That makeup is so thick on his face that it's like turning him gold, bronzy. And I'm just like, really?
And
for no reason.
All this stuff doesn't just happen so fast like this either. He gets the stuff on him. By the next day, he's sweating to death in that box.
Death,
Yeah.
He's gone to Rick mode.
He's an organ shutdown.
Yeah.
By the next day.
I just... Man, the way they shoehorn stuff in is just so silly to me on this show. I'll never understand the decisions they make. They have an awesome source material to go by that has a massive following, right?
Yeah, and guess what? The source material doesn't have any of these continuity issues or these completely bogus shoe-ins, like you say.
Right, but and I'm okay with remixes and stuff like that, but don't take something plausible and make it shitty.
Yeah, or don't wait 7 seasons to introduce this possibility.
Yeah, I'm just... I don't know. I'm confused constantly and just let down constantly with decisions they make. I'm just floored by it. These are the people that get paid all this money to make these shows. This show in particular makes just truckloads of money.
Yeah.
Truckloads of money. So it's not a budget issue. They could get the best talent to write, direct, act, whatever they want in this show. No one would scoff at it. They'd be like, hell yeah, I'd love to work on that show. We've talked to one on this podcast who had a great episode.
It's possible.
She's not the only talented human being on this thing.
It is possible.
So it's like, why do we keep making these same errors constantly?
I mean, we have to. Something has to give. You went from 11.5 million to like 7 point something million. When you drop 4 million viewers, and you're having the worst viewer turnout of an entire season, they need to look at it and go, "What went wrong? Let's reevaluate this season," and then they'll realize the dumpster fire that has been coming through here.
This season has been so bad. It's so unfortunate. And I tell you what, it probably hasn't been as bad as I think it has been, but these past 2 have really drug it through the mud.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
And it's unfortunate to hear at the end of this episode the advertisement for the finale is...
Yeah, that's what it's coming... Oh, man.
Wait to see what everyone will be talking about at the end of this episode. I'm just like...
I'd rather not. Like, I'd rather be talking about it right now.
But I mean, y'all...
That's the MO now.
Let's
wait until the mid-season finale or the end of the season before we get something that's talk-worthy.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't just keep giving us 4 episodes a season.
Yeah, it's like the same game plan. We're going to muddle through a season. Maybe we'll have one episode that's like, wow, cool, da-da-da-da. And then the mid-season finale, and then the finale. Let's do something. And guess what it always is? A major death or something that's just completely off the wall.
Or a cliffhanger to a major death.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's pretty much all we have.
That's what it is. We've gotten so far away from the whole... Like, I remember when Chad Coleman died, which was completely generic, but it was just a random episode. You know what I mean? He walks in the room, he freezes, a guy bites his arm, he dies from blood loss, they bury him.
Yep.
I mean, like, one of your biggest, most formidable foes, the entire show, in an episode, disappears.
But do you remember how well they handled that? Where you see the car going down the road, and then all of a sudden the brake lights light up, and they have to pull him out of the car, and he dies on the street.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that felt like really cool. You know what I mean? Like, it was really well done. The way they were doing the sun and the lights kind of closing in on him and stuff like that, and everybody's overshadowing him, and it's like, man, just remember season 1 and the story, and season 2, which was slow, but there was a story, and then this season, I feel like it's just this jumbled up mess.
Yeah, I mean, Shane died mid-season. The big character. Dale died in the middle of it. You didn't have to wait until mid-season finale. You didn't have to wait until the very end.
No, like you would just drop it off, and then you would trust your writers to still be able to.
Think about when the barn was burning. I mean, like, they're running around shooting walkers. People are in fear, and there's death. I mean, like, all that stuff. Even when they're at the prison, I mean, just one thing after another. Things were spontaneous.
Yes.
Everything was on your toes. I mean, still, like I've said before, like the episode where Lori dies, T-Dog dies. People, there's just death, destruction. Carl has to shoot his own mother. I mean, like, where is an episode like that we've seen in a long time? Where they're just completely blown away by what's going on. Instead, it's, hey, I think we can come up with a really cool spectacle. Let's don't worry about how we get to it.
We haven't even really worried about resources at all in the past season. Like, it was a big issue last year, and it's something we don't probably want to see every episode, but that's the realism of what they're going on in right now.
Well, let's lead this right into Daryl's plan. Okay, Jake called it right last episode. He sat there and goes, you know what, Michonne, there's no way Michonne agrees or signs off with anything. But guess what? We get there, and this whole thing, which we were already like, okay, this is complete bullcrap. But then all of a sudden, Morgan's not out clearing. Morgan's just a sniper in a building. Where the hell did that come from?
Couldn't tell you.
Whatever. I was actually happy he was up there.
Right, but it's just like
and by the
earlier, he's just walking away in the woods. I can't be a part of this.
Who gave him the command?
He can't be a part of it, but he decides to go be a sniper in a building.
And tells nobody.
Oh, and that's the thing. He's not supposed to be a sniper up there, it doesn't look like. He's just up there on his own, free will.
Yeah. But he's got cars, a sniper rifle with a silencer.
A radio.
Radio. Evidently, he's in great communication and command and stuff like that. But this is the guy who says, I can't do this.
And he's like at the front door, like the main thing. It's like,
what the?
Well, he couldn't be a part of what Jesus was doing. Fine.
Understandable.
I was happy with that. Because if he,
good call.
Yeah.
Bravo.
You got bravo.
How he wasn't killing that long-haired redneck is beyond me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So go to the other side of the plan. Perfect. All it would have taken was 2 minutes of screen time to show you what he was doing, and that would have made more sense. Whatever. He's up there. He's a sniper. Biggest surprise of this? Rosita being the first one to back out.
Yeah. The voice of reason, Rosita.
Yeah, Mrs. Go in, shoot, ask some questions later, decides to say no. Well, she makes a great point. This was actually decent writing here, where she's like, we can get the same result. Or we can go in and risk our lives for the same result.
They did this same thing, remember? This was her and Sasha last season. When they decided to go gung-ho in to try to get Eugene and stuff like that.
Leroy Jenkins is pretty much what she would have run it in. It went about as well as Leroy Jenkins.
So Rosita, just like she said in this one, I wish I'd have known before Sasha had to come out of that casket, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, can't be a part of this. Good deal. And then Michonne, of course, stays. Tell me, any of y'all, did y'all have any of a split second to think that Michonne was going to stay in the truck?
Nope.
I mean, not at all. I mean, it's like, why
once you said
are
the other
we
day,
even
it made
doing
so much
this?
sense. Yeah, once you said the other day, I was just like, yeah, Jake's absolutely right. If she goes with this plan, it's another complete farce.
Yeah, so I'm saying, if she goes with it, it's even more bullshit.
Yeah.
There's no way. And then Rosita's even sitting there saying, why aren't we waiting until Rick's plan's over with?
And they're like, you believe in the plan? I believe in Rick. Like, that is the only thing that you should have to say.
And that is a great line, and a line that is used in the comic book a lot, and I was very happy they used it as a callback.
Yeah, it was a beautiful, perfectly laid out and everything.
But it's almost unnecessary. The plan is working.
Yeah.
You can literally look at it. Like Rick says, 20 deep surrounding this compound with walkers. There's snipers all around the building. Keeping an eye out. What is not going in their favor? The only thing that's gone wrong is the Kingdom people getting shot to shit.
Right.
Yes.
That's it. But
that's
even
failure.
Ezekiel and Carol are still alive.
Right. Of course.
So it's like, okay, y'all lost like 20 people. That sucks. But dude, the plan is still still going.
Let's evaluate Daryl's idea and plan. Okay, so their rationale is that we're going to drive this garbage truck into the building to create a hole for walkers to be able to get in and kill it from the inside.
Yeah, flood.
They thought about it, and he's been there, so he knows the layout, and he knows exactly where to hit in the building. So it's going to hit your main people and not your workers, and the workers will have no choice but to flee in another area, and so on. So that's the plan. Okay. This is thin. To me, when you blow a hole into the side of a building, I don't see a lot of room to get between the sides of the truck.
No, you're hoping that, the truck goes clean through.
That was my thing. I was surprised that it didn't make the truck go all the way through the wall.
To me as well. I thought you were supposed to go all the way through.
Because that was the first thing I thought.
Gaping hole.
When it first hits the wall and it's sitting there, there's not enough room for anybody to get beside it.
No.
That thing is pried in a little bit so people can walk to the point where they could almost walk broadsided through the gap. And I was
like the hole doesn't match the truck creating it.
I'm going to be honest, I was waiting for an explosion or something that I just thought they left out because those were my thoughts. How is this going to create a big enough hole for...
Exactly.
Yeah, it was too thin. And not only that, what space they did have there, the enormous influx of walkers to get in their single file line.
One walker falls.
You're up first, Larry. All right, Judy, you're next. I'm coming right behind you. Come
on, James.
Come on, give me a break.
If they were smart, they were just right when the first one...
kill the first one, plugs the hole.
You just stab a stake right through it and make it stuck there. You know what I mean? And then nobody can get through.
It's just like the stairs. As soon as you pile a few bodies right there, it's stuck. Like, problem
the
solved.
idea that somebody stands there long enough shooting a gun for a walker to get up beside it to gnaw its neck off.
Oh my God.
It just absolutely blows my mind. This is the crap that kills something. So how we fix this? The truck blows completely through it.
Yeah.
So you have a 10-foot wide hole. Completely plausible, cool.
Then
that
you
makes
have
sense.
a actual deluge
Yeah,
of
you have
walkers.
a flood 20 deep coming in waves.
Why?
So yeah, guess what? You can shoot the mass and they'll be able to get and continue to move forward. Having a single file line over here and a single file line over here, 5 guys shooting, you just create a wall of bodies. It would look like 300.
You just
over
did them
there.
a favor.
Yeah.
Like, because you funneled them, you made their numbers worthless.
Right.
And
I mean, so that whole scenario is off. So then, once you've got so many in there, people who stand still to get bitten by walkers, this just completely. You can't tell me that you get so disoriented from gunfire that you don't realize when something's next to you.
it's not even gunfire. A cement mixer just came through your building, and you're going to stand around like nothing happened?
You notice the people who are killing folks; they're standing up on the rails.
Yeah.
I mean they're in an elevated location.
Minus Eugene, who's
Yeah.
frozen like a deer in headlights.
Yeah,
But
so that's the part that kills this stuff. You know what I mean? And so then, yeah, like you said, they get over the stairs. They're dropping them like they're hot right there at the base of it. They're getting all clogged up. They're not making it over. That's great and everything. God awful special effects on this gun shooting because it looks like little cap guns on the end of this M16. You know what I mean? It's not even real fire because it has a little smoke that's going
like,
up.
it was like the little cat guns we played with as kids and everything.
I mean,
I was thinking of.
if you're going to do this, do it. I mean, when you've never been afraid to show like what looked like real gunfire in the past.
Yeah, we saw it back in episode 2. Like, it was
I mean, like
fantastic.
they've never been afraid to show like the true muzzle flash of what a gun's supposed to look like. So to put that generic, the cap gun stuff just blew my mind. But here's the other thing too. All right, and this is super hyper detailed, but this just drives me nuts. As a guy who likes to shoot guns and like that or so on. All right, Morgan is using basically a deer hunting rifle that has a sniper ahead. Okay, 30-06, 270 Win Mag, 243, whatever you want to call it. Okay, it did not have some ultra zoom scope on it. Okay,
No.
it had a regular,
Just
run-of-the-mill scope like every other deer hunting rifle. Okay, he's in a building across the way.
Good
Okay.
distance.
A good distance. When he looks through that scope, he
Zoom,
can see
yeah.
only the window he's looking into. You're talking about an optical zoom.
I mean,
Holy smacks. Okay, now I know that's a huge detail, but here's the other problem I've got. He's laying down cover fire.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You can clearly see a third of a human in the window, and he is missing.
Grease them.
I mean, like, he should not be missing.
no.
Unless this is Michonne's gun that she was practicing on out in the field out there where she couldn't hit the side of the barn and so on. The bottom line is there is no excuse. He has his gun perched,
Yep.
okay?
He's a crackpot shot, as we've come to find out.
The guy is not afraid to kill folks. He didn't drop a soul.
soul.
I mean, like, it was like, what the? Tara is on the ground with an automatic rifle. She steps out, and she's hosing the building down.
Just,
I was surprised we didn't see heads popping like melons. You know,
Well, hers made more sense. Just shooting the windows that they know they're in.
yeah.
I mean, that makes total sense. That's actual cover fire.
Like, just
yeah.
make people duck so they can't come up so
Exactly.
he can just keep driving.
Like,
Right.
she should have been shooting, and then Morgan just be waiting for that next head
perfect
to pop
shot
up,
and drop.
knock him down. Because they ought to be aiming down at her more than him.
Not only that, it's not just Morgan shooting.
Oh, it's
There
other
was
snipers.
multiple snipers.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that there was only 3 or 4 people they showed visible in these windows stepping up to fire
None,
at Daryl?
none go down.
None got hit.
Nobody died. You realize nobody died from a gunshot.
And the whole point of this is to kill people.
Nobody died from a gunshot. You should have had at least one guy, like, just
Fall out
watch
the
his
window.
head spray
Yeah.
against the back wall. One fella at least should have died
Or
on
just see
camera.
him fall out the window and the walkers eat them on their way in.
Something. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. So Daryl puts the concrete center block on there. He jumps out, does his ninja roll. He gets to safety, and they run. Okay, mission accomplished. The walkers are going in there. All hell's broke loose.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what happens? We cut away, and we're back to the Rick storyline of, so on. Now, of course, we talked about Michonne. She
Yeah.
quit and said no and leaves. Went and got a car. Blah blah blah.
Whatever.
But so now we're back to Rick, and Rick's, of course, got Jews. He comes back, and he comes around the corner, and there's 4 or 5 walkers, and like a badass should be, pulls out a little bitty switchblade pocket knife and takes 3 walkers out like it's
nothing. Because it is nothing at this point.
It is nothing, exactly.
But even before this is Eugene's plan with Negan, right?
Well, Eugene looks at him and says, "I've got this plan. It's going to cost a ton of ammo. Are you going to be able to replenish that?" And he says, "Yes."
Right. This is the bullet talk.
That's all we hear.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we get.
That's all we get, and then we get nothing.
We get nothing. We get to see no actual action of this. I'm guessing the next episode we're going to get a throwback to what happens.
You think?
I think so. If we don't, I'm going to be pissed.
Because we got Eugene crying in a chair while just machine gun fire is going.
I paused this scene. Okay, so when we get back to this, Rick kills those 3 walkers because they're munching on a guy hanging upside down from a ladder of a water tower.
Fantastic.
Did y'all see that, right?
I saw the
This is a huge callback to the comic book.
How the F did this happen?
Huge callback to the comic. Like, this is like
I feel like you
huge foreshadowing.
You've told us about what happened on this, but how did this happen?
Okay. Well, all I can tell you is in the comic book, this is...
No, you told me this is a character. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
We don't even have to go into that. I'm just saying... We see how tall this ladder is.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Well, the character in the comic book is going down the ladder really, really fast because he's trying to outrun a horde of walkers coming so he can alert
on the
others.
ground. Yeah.
And when he does, one foot slips and his foot gets caught in the rung and he falls backwards, breaking his ankle.
Oh, my God.
And he's dangling there right at head height for walkers to come by and start chewing on him. To when they find him, all that's left is like half a torso and his spinal cord hanging there. I mean, he's just disgusting, and so on. And that was a main character, a big main character who has been in this for this season for several years. That was his demise. So this nobody sniper,
is getting
this death of a major character that we're missing out on. Okay.
Well, I'm assuming that this major character, there's no way it's the same character.
No.
So Rick grabs the sniper rifle, goes up the water tower, gets up there, and looks through the scope and sees just enormous piles of walkers everywhere
around a rectangle.
Correct.
What looks like a rectangle exploded. Almost, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then there's like a perfect
outline line of a rectangle of
bodies. Almost like the trailer that Negan and Gabriel were stuck in blew up. And they were all around it. And they kind of fell out. But that's not all the walkers.
No, the
not
whole
even
compound
remotely.
was surrounded.
Yeah.
So like for there to be zero activity in there just was baffling to me.
It's terrifying because, like, yeah, we have a few inside, like, a lot made it inside and everything. But like you said, we're 20 deep. There's not nearly enough bodies.
I mean, like, I am so scared right now that we're going to get this next episode and we're going to see the most god-awful plan that was executed to make them be able to escape. What they considered 20 deep wall will end up looking like they killed 100 and escaped. You know what I'm saying?
And everyone's like, oh my God, they killed so many, it was valiant. And it's like, no.
The only thing I think I would accept, because the building that they drive the truck into is a massive downstairs facility.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Big, and then with the stairs too. Is if they have a way into the second building from the first building upstairs, where they literally lure all the walkers into the building and then they just come out the other building. You know what I'm saying? Because that's obviously where they're going to start going, is into that thing. So if they all come in there, or at least most come in there, and then they can start coming out of the other building, literally hit that dump truck with another truck, turn it sideways where it can't
block it off.
Blocks off that entrance, wherever. And then you just take care of what's left outside. It's almost the only thing I'll accept, other than some dynamite or something like that, blowing these things to pieces.
The deal is that he said it's going to take a crap load of ammo.
Yeah.
So obviously, gunfire is a big deal. So, the bottom line is the comic book when they're in this situation is that they get groups, small groups of guys go out in waves and just kill as many as they can. When they start to get overran, they come back inside, regroup, go back out and kill a whole bunch more and blah, 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 and to the point where they can thin enough that they can escape.
You just kind of cycle people in.
You cycle them out, exactly.
Which would have
kill squads.
Which would have been great. Like each episode, we spend 5 minutes finding hilarious ways to kill zombies.
Well, not only that, like Negan is a big contributor. Like he's one of the first ones to go out, and he's using his bat and just mowing folks down, and it's awesome. This is great opportunity for good, good film. You know what I mean?
For a lot of the walkers that we've been talking about, it was like, I've got this great idea for a walker. We could have just thrown them here into this pile and been like, cool, meet the kill squad.
Yeah,
give him a great name, let Negan make a few jokes, call basketball plays. There's a lot of things that they could have done with this.
I don't know. I feel like they have a lot of resources they can use to create a massive amount of walker death out there. I'm surprised they didn't even just think to pour some fuel out there and set it on fire or something. You know what I mean? Like burn these things up or make them immobile. You know what I'm saying? Where you can get past them. Anything. Yeah. I don't know. I was just like...
you're able to get to the edge of your roof. You know what I mean?
As we've seen with
drop bricks on their heads.
That's another thing.
Drop rocks.
That brings up another thing. If Eugene's flyer was able to go right off the roof, are we not to say the sniper couldn't see them up top?
At least Dwight and Eugene.
Would the gunfire not alert the snipers?
You'd think. And as soon as they saw Dwight shooting in the direction of Eugene, they would have probably iced him. You know what I mean?
Look, the only thing they needed the governor one-handed shooting because he can kill somebody through fence at 400 yards.
He could shoot Axel one-handed.
Yeah, with to the temple. Yeah. I just there's a lot of holes there. You're really gonna have to explain to me how on earth snipers were put in peril, killed all these walkers, and escaped basically what seems to be scot-free.
But where's Morgan? Where's anybody?
Yeah.
What happened to the snipers that they were had to come out of their perch or whatever the case may be?
All we can assume is Daryl said, "Hey guys, we won. Let's all go home."
Yeah, really. Coffee break. Coffee break.
Even if they see people come outside in groups and start shooting at walkers, they're being still. Grease them right where they stand shooting.
You kill anybody that comes out.
Well, you would have to have some kind of diversion. You would have to have people who go out there to kill walkers and become the cannon fodder for the snipers so that other people can step out and shoot snipers.
Yeah.
You would have to have your sacrificial lambs.
Yeah, it's just...
that's the whole deal. There would have to be something, unless they come up with something creative, and they might surprise me, whatever. But the fact of the matter is Rick looks stunned. He's got to have some splaining to do to Judas and so on. And then the preview...
Is next week an extended episode? Or
next week is a 90-minute episode. And it has something we'll be talking about all winter.
Oh, for the until
something everyone will be talking about, blah, blah, blah.
Anytime you have to advertise that's your only winning model.
That shouldn't be an advertisement thing for the show anymore. We've seen everything.
That should be what you expect, not what you have to say. Oh, by the way, don't worry. This episode we are going to have a stunning moment, and so on. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a cool scene when you see Carl and Michonne and them sitting in Alexandria, and you hear the knock at the gate. You know what I mean? And you hear Negan going, "You got 3 minutes, or we're coming in, and I'm just going to kill Rick really ugly." And anybody else who doesn't have a good story, you're going to die too. And, it's got some good setup, but then it's also got trees down and Carol in peril and Maggie and Jesus rolling up like, what's going on here? And everybody's just oblivious. Well, I guess the, Walker mail didn't, pick up this week
but I'm going to be super pissed that it doesn't matter what's happening. The Saviors, if they're getting out of the building, they're still fleeing from the building.
Yeah.
Where are they going with all these numbers to create this big elaborate plan that looks like it's about to unfold in the next episode? If people are purposely knocking down trees to block streets, doing this or that requires some
organization,
heavy organization and planning, because you already have a slight revolt going on inside your walls.
Yes.
Right.
Well, more than slight.
You know, so I'm like, if that's the case, if it literally comes to that, where all of a sudden there's this masterful plan unfolding in a split-second reaction by Negan,
yes, I'll
be super pissed.
Not only that, I mean, legitimately, how many soldiers does Negan have at this compound? Because we've killed the satellites. So if they're going to say that another satellite shows up that has 150 men, I'm calling total BS.
No, they've killed all the satellites as far as I'm concerned. I will be generous and give them 50 fighting people.
I think in the walls. Way generous.
And I think that's being way generous.
I think that is extremely generous.
I'm just giving him that just because, you know, when you see people on the ladders, on the stairs and downstairs holding guns and stuff, you see at least 20, I'd say.
And you would hope you have at least like 50 at your main compound and everything.
Right. And we know we have people that are up there in the sniper things, you know what I mean, not getting killed. You know, there's people around the building. So I'm like I said, super generous, 50 people.
But I mean, I guess back to where they're heading, you got to be heading to wherever Eugene can make bullets. That's the only logical place, right?
I don't know. And that's not.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Judging by the preview, our people are in peril.
Meaning that Negan is executing a plan.
Meaning that Negan is in the lead, somehow winning this war again.
Well, not even saying that. I'm just saying that he made it quite clear that he doesn't have the bullets after this crap happens, so he can't be amounting a force against Rick. You know what I'm saying? If he has a secondary location he wants to regroup and then create a plan, that makes total sense.
But
if you remember, when we talked about the preview cast at the beginning of this season, we talked about how the war goes.
I know.
And you remember, they had to change tactics because
ammo became scarce.
Ammo became scarce. And that was another really cool element to how the war goes. I'm going to tell you what I'm scared of. 8 more episodes of this.
I mean, you see how they can drag it out in a heartbeat.
That's what makes me nervous.
And you know we're going to have, what, 2-3 episodes just on Rick and Daryl fighting?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Hey, that might be entertaining at this point.
But I'm just saying,
not unless there's a shower incorporated.
Oh, God.
I don't want to see them in the shower together. But no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what they're going to drag out. They're going to drag out the feuds. And now we're going to get split up again, too. You can see it's going to be Maggie and Jesus and, you know, that group. And then we're going to have Rick's group. Or the Kingdom again, because we didn't even see them, really.
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone's seen them. They're all dead.
Yeah, I know, but it's still a fortification.
There's still people there. But
all right, so let's make the prediction. What is the moment or moments that we'll be talking about forever? To me, I think we're going to see the largest casualty episode in history. I think it's the only way you can top this is by saying 3-4 people die.
I think we get a scene that we talked about in the preview pod. And I don't really want to say it.
Yeah, that's not.
Because I don't want to spoil anything. But if that is the scene that we get, then I do think we'll be talking about it. I think
it's too early for that one.
Well, where do you think Negan's headed?
To me, well, if we follow our preview pod, he's all about surprise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, showing up randomly and so on. And the way they show this preview is like Carl's like, we've just got to find a way to survive tonight.
Yeah.
All we got to do is find a way to survive. That's that key statement he says. So to me, I think that people are not communicated what's going on, and all of a sudden here Negan, everybody there is everybody but Michonne, maybe Rosita, is going to be like, I guess the plan is not what we thought. Oh, he's here. We're about to die, or whatever like that. And people have to make choices. Mass chaos happens, whatever. That's why I really, really feel like, we're low on ammo. I'm thinking the next category of weapons is involved, and I'm not, and you're going to see major mass casualties.
And even if we do get that episode, it will be great and fantastic, but it doesn't make up for like the 3 things that they did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like we're going to have, I'm willing to say we have at least 3 or 4 named fluff characters like I could totally see Tobin just gone, a couple other people gone, and then give me 3 of your other ones. You know what I mean? Like, totally see Tara toast. Could totally see
Gabriel probably.
Yeah, Gabriel will probably be in the mix somehow. I mean, there's no situation.
Do you just leave Gabriel?
Or? Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, is he dead in the compound? I mean, is a doctor with him? I mean, they leave him behind, or
does he
turn?
Like, what do you? Like, I mean,
leave him behind so Rick can find him.
Right. So I mean, like, I mean, like, I think they're going to have multiple people that we know, not necessarily huge characters, because God forbid we kill a huge character. Yeah, because there's this huge influx on the internet saying that Carl's dying.
No way.
No.
Negative.
No way.
Well, he did this whole haircut thing.
Yeah.
And made everybody all freak out, They let him chop a little bit off for a movie he's making. I mean, give me a break.
Kids not going anywhere.
You know what I mean? No.
He'll look like that greasy little Carl. No problem with his simple haircut. It'd be fine.
Yeah.
So what do you think, bro? What's the moment that's going to happen?
Man, honestly, if there's a big moment, that would mean that Negan has somehow infiltrated any of these,
fort structures,
any of these,
kind of.
Forts and stuff, and I'll be pissed. He just should not have the means at this point. They are fleeing. Like, it's not smart to just immediately retaliate, in my eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The thing is, too,
as you said, you're not just fleeing.
Does he know all the satellites are gone?
I think so, because, well,
I mean,
no,
Rick came up there and threw some photos out to somebody.
And that was the Garbage Pail people.
Garbage Pail people, you're right.
So, yeah, Negan.
So if you're Negan, really, you should be going to the satellite array building or something. You know what I mean? Regroup there. I just don't see how you turn around immediately and
become the offensive
when your numbers are down, your people are hungry. There's
They're
a civil
revolting.
war. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you gotta go recruit.
Low on ammo, low on weapons, low on everything.
I don't know. I'll be a little pissed if they're just like automatically on the offensive.
I think you're gonna be a lot of pissed.
But since I'm more than likely gonna be pissed, I think you're right. I think we'll get a couple big deaths, and I think we'll get a couple of the bad guy deaths too. There's 6 lieutenants. We don't need all them.
No.
There's the kind of reddish blonde-haired guy, the short-haired kind of dykier girl,
the face tattoo, or is it shoulder tattoo? Girl?
Neck tattoo.
Neck tat.
That's with
named every body part.
Yeah, there's one with a neck tat, and there's one with like the top.
Yeah.
All right, let's put it this way. Let's go down your main characters, alive and well after next episode. Okay, Rick. We all say yes. Yeah. He's safe. Carl safe. Michonne safe. Daryl safe. Garrity. Carol
safe.
Okay. Tara.
Possibly. I could see her getting killed.
I can totally see her die. I mean, she's gotten. To me, like she's ran her course.
Yeah. Jerry.
See, I don't see the kingdom being involved in this.
Yeah, I don't see the kingdom. Okay. That's the other part of this. I don't see them being involved.
Well, I figured if Carol's in danger, then
yeah. So then you got Rosita.
Safe.
And you see what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't make sense right now for them to die.
No, because
unfortunately, trust me, unfortunately.
And especially, they're not just fleeing from the compound. Like as you said, they're fleeing into snipers, into a trap that
into
was set.
unknown.
Right, I got one for you, Morgan. Since he's making a transition.
Yeah.
Whatever. Take him. I had enough of his crap at this point.
I don't really see how he dies, but if you can figure out a way that makes sense,
it'll be terrible if they announce he's the crossover character and then kill him off. Like,
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Because he's like, I hated to say goodbye to my people. Because he said that on television, like on the show. He's like, I hate to leave such a great crew, but I'm excited about where I'm going. To me, that's like, pretty much, I'm not coming back to The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's all.
See, I just don't think there's anybody like Jesus, Maggie.
Got to keep them all alive.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I can see people like, what's the governor of Hilltop? What's his name? Gregory, people like that. I could see going.
Redneck. But see, that's the whole deal is that if you follow the comic book, you would hate to miss out something he's a part of. If they remix it. That's what I'm saying. Like, they have pigeonholed themselves. There's nobody, like, if they really kill a main character, I will truly be shocked.
And I will happily be shocked.
I think somebody has to die because of what Daryl and Tara have done.
Yes, there has to be consequences.
Tara is your most obvious. I think of all.
No, I'm saying characters. Even a guilt death where it's Tara and Daryl's fault that somebody else dies.
Like, there has to be consequences again. Like, if it involves Negan, there has to be consequences for action.
Based on what we saw at the compound, that truck had no effect on whatever plan they did to get him out of there.
No.
Based on what I saw, because the truck wasn't moved, nothing changed, this, that, or so on.
Doesn't matter. Things wouldn't have happened unless that truck was driven into it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's still their fault.
Yeah.
All they had to do was listen and wait. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Call it.
Guys. Golly. Anyway, you guys can always check us on BleedTV Podcast. We're on Podbean. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. So if y'all have got a prediction of what y'all think is going to happen next week, I'd love to hear it, because I'm being honest with you. I really am clueless to what they think they might do. Who's y'all think is going to be the person who possibly dies? To me, if they don't have somebody die next episode, what were we doing?
There'll be talks if we don't have any deaths next week.
So on. And guys, do y'all agree? Do y'all think this season has just torpedoed?
Are we being too harsh on it?
No way.
We've got a lot of feedback telling people they just this is just complete garbage, and a lot of the social groups we're a part of, man, they've just been dogging this and deal. You know what I mean?
I've seen a lot on Twitter. People are leaving this show.
Yeah, they're just done. I mean, I work with 4 coworkers who are diehards. 2 of them don't even watch anymore.
Yeah, my brother's a season and a half behind, and I'm like, come on,
you might want to cut it down. Yeah. So I mean, we're hoping for the best. We'll see what happens. But other than that, guys, we're gonna call it a night. This is BleedTV, and I'm Zach.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Cash.
See y'all next week.